Now I know you better. I wish I knew as much about you. And I kind of delved in because, and we'll talk about this, your new show, which is off the charts. As we see it
on Amazon Prime.
As we see it, which is like the #1 show on Amazon Prime. It's got, like, if you can give it 6 stars, it's got 6 stars. It's brilliant. It's the same.
Why don't you say 5?
Because I think it's worth more than the stars
right.
that I'm giving you extra.
Like when rock and rollers turn it up to 11.
That's what it is.
Right.
But and for those that haven't seen it, you have to watch it because it is based on the life of 3 people who are in the spectrum. And what is also kind of amazing about it, not only is it well written and brilliantly acted, but everybody in the cast is legitimately in the spectrum. Is that correct? I don't know the girl.
Sue Ann, and I think technically, and I don't want you to get canceled, it's on the spectrum.
I was talking about the shades, the colors.
Right. Yeah, well, Sue Ann, right, she's Asian, and Albert and I are white, so you should have Albert on the podcast.
I was wrong, but it's on the spectrum?
On the spectrum, yeah.
And you were diagnosed, actually, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
I've been following you. So I saw you, and you were brilliant on with Trevor Noah.
On the Daily Show.
On the Daily Show.
That was my first late night. I've been wanting to do late night it's not the same typical like sitting on a couch and doing bits and stuff, but that was my first late night. I was so excited to do it.
And you were brilliant on it because you were not only articulate and smart, but you were funny and charming, and you have become more than just a comedian, but an advocate. Do you consider yourself an advocate for autism?
No, I don't. That scares me a bit because, and I was really glad that organically it came up the way it did when I did that interview with Trevor, because I was able to tell him that I don't want to be an advocate for something I'm still learning about.
Which he thought was a brilliant statement.
And was also allowed me to kind of like hey, listen, I don't know much. And now I could be present and like not pretending or you thinking I'm pretending. But what has been happening with this show, because it's been doing well and there's been so much press, and that's kind of like the talking point a lot.
Well, because we have not, well, I guess we have. I mean, if there is a show about living in urban America, they'll cast people who are black.
Yeah.
But it has yet, or if there's a show about women, they'll cast females.
Black people.
But if there's a show about autism, and it is.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something?
This actually brings up a good topic, and we touched on it a little bit when Sarah Silverman was here. Because we were talking about, she says that if there's a Jewish character, they should be played by Jewish people.
Yeah, I watched that.
Do you hear that spraying sound?
Lou.
Yes.
That was Lou putting in breath freshener.
Hey, you know what?
Are you going to kiss him?
I've done the same thing over and over and over again and got different results. Take that, Einstein.
Okay.
All right, but my question is, and then there's a lot of arguments on the other side.
Seems like the same result to me, but not bad.
There's an argument on the other side from actors that if you're an actor, then, I know it's disgusting, right? His coughing.
Well, the same result every time he sprays that stuff and makes him cough.
You cough from the stomach, and that's deep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's his ass. That was below the stomach. You haven't been here long.
I could hear it. There is a little phlegm in there. There is something going on.
Yes.
It's not his.
Whose is it?
He takes whoever decides to donate a loogie.
I'm always working on something.
So this show, go ahead. What you were saying? You were saying something.
No,
serious.
I want to know your belief. Like you were saying that these characters are people that are played by actual people that are on the spectrum, right? Do you believe that whatever it may be, whether it's autism or Jewish or
those are the big two,
gay, right?
That's up there.
Yeah. Well, do you think it should be played by someone who is authentically
I have a very strong,
in that category?
I have a very strong take on this.
Okay.
Brilliant question. I do not believe that any of these things need to be played by somebody who has the most authentic truth in their real life to it. I don't think that only people with autism should be playing autistic characters. You could argue it's not for me to say, but I don't feel that way about homosexual. I don't feel that way about Jewish. I do think outside of giving people opportunity, which is a variable and should be considered and exists, from a selfish point of view, when you're telling a story, you want somebody who could bring the most authentic thing to it. So when you have somebody who's lived a certain life and knows a certain thing, they could just tell this story a little bit better. but it's a fine line to then only say only these people could do it, because then you're not acting anymore and everyone is only playing themselves. I think it's great that our show isn't just casting neurodiverse people to play neurodiverse characters. There are the guy who plays my boss, and I'm not embarrassed, but I just don't remember his name. And maybe I could tell it to you and we could put it up on the screen.
Yeah, Jeremy, put the name of the
I'll send it to you. He's
actor.
great.
Well, look up the cast of that, and then we'll say.
He's great.
Your father, we know, is
he's
Joe,
not one of the principals. He's in a few episodes, but he has autism and he plays a neurotypical character. And the writing staff and the PAs and a lot of people on the production have autism, or are directly connected to it. It just fosters an environment of just people
Nurturing.
what's that?
Nurturing.
Yeah, which I just feel is ironic that like when people have this idea of the way we're supposed to be around a certain type of person, which they're making this thing up, they're just nicer and more accepting. And this thing is just like everyone was just calm. And I don't know why that has to be on an autistic set, but
you didn't know about your own autism until.
That's why I was a little nervous about this show, not to play the character, which I felt I could do well. But if the show works and I have to do this stuff, I just felt like, who am I to talk about this stuff? And
You quoted somebody, which I thought was a brilliant quote.
You met one person with autism, it means you met one person with autism. And that was very true on set when I met Sue Ann and Albert, of which I just did a podcast with them. I don't know when this comes out, but it probably just came out. But we talk about
this podcast has not been out yet.
Oh, you don't do live?
This is not live.
Oh, well, then you could go and check it out. Everyone is so different, and the characters they're playing are so different, and it made it easier for me to accept that like I don't have to be an advocate for autism as much as just speak my truth from my experiences, learning about what I know about autism, and maybe that is what an advocate is.
Well, an advocate. Listen, I'm not cutting you off. Am I cutting him off?
That's what you do.
I know. Anyway, the thing is, when I watch the show, my wife and I, we go, oh my God, this reminds me of so-and-so, or this is what it's like. Yeah. So what it teaches us, not only is it entertaining and thought-provoking, but it teaches us, and I don't know if that was the point of the show, rather than just this is an interesting slice of life to kind of depict for entertainment purposes, but it teaches us to have patience and to be more cognizant. You know, I think if there's one problem in the world, it's like if somebody's different, looks different, acts different, is different than me, we don't like them. We have no patience with them. We don't understand them. And this kind of shows us, you know, another side that hasn't really been, you know, shown.